Lately I've been really into weird ways to play Pokemon. I don't mean solo runs or Nuzlocke challenges, but things like shiny hunting, which in the older games can take dozens or even hundreds of hours just to get a single shiny Pokemon. It's been nearly a year of me soft resetting for a shiny Turtwig in Pokemon Platinum, for example, and I still don't have one, meaning I haven't even been able to play the actual game yet. Through my shiny hunting endeavors, I've been really drawn to not only the Generation 4 Pokemon games, but the Generation 3 Pokemon games as well. I'm even trying to set up a second GameCube so I can shiny hunt on 2 Generation 3 games at the same time with the same wireless controller, but as you can see behind me, one of my GameCubes is opened up right now because I'm trying to do some sort of enhancement to it, so that'll have to wait. Most of my shiny hunting has been on Generation 4 lately, but I do have this spare European copy of Pokemon Ruby version with the sticker missing and thought, what if we did something completely ridiculous in this game, like get a Pokemon to level 100 on the very first route of the game? First, let's discuss why I picked Ruby and Sapphire for this video. They're the best Pokemon games. The end. Okay, for real, what sets Ruby and Sapphire apart from every other game when it comes to grinding to level 100 on just the very first route of the game without ever battling another trainer? To briefly discuss why I didn't pick some other Pokemon games, I'm not ready to do this on Generation 1 after the forest incident in the Pokemon Yellow Oak Challenge video. The Generation 5 Pokemon games, which include Black and White and Black and White 2, have this weird EXP gain system where if your Pokemon are too high of a level compared to the wild Pokemon you're facing, you get as little as just 1 or 2 EXP per battle, making Generation 5 probably the hardest games for this challenge. Then I didn't feel like hooking up my Nintendo Switch to play some of the Switch Pokemon games, although I did do a video a while ago, grind to level 100 on Scarlet and Violet without a single gym badge, which was kinda cool. And then I remembered that in Generation 3, or Ruby and Sapphire to be specific, they have something that would make this challenge incredible. Zigzagoon. I know Bidoof gets all of the love when it comes to early route rodent Pokemon that people meme on, but Zigzagoon is capable of far more than just this silly little beaver guy. I'll explain why in a bit, but for now we have to start up a brand new save file on this copy of Ruby version, and all of this was streamed live on my Twitch channel, by the way, link in the description if you want to watch these silly challenges done live. The VODs will also be uploaded to my VOD channel in the description, and I'm even currently doing a Professor's Oak challenge on Pokemon Coliseum right now, but not on that broken GameCube, on the one that I didn't disassemble and nearly break that I had from my childhood. Also consider leaving a like and subscribing on this video, since grinding to level 100 on just Route 101 in Ruby version on official hardware takes quite a while since we don't have access to speed up at all. Loading up the game, we see the previous save file by Carakiss, which took a full look at in a previous video looking at old save files not too long ago, and this particular copy of the game had a lot of Pokemon named after Greek curse words, so who doesn't love curse words in other languages? I reset the save file, name ourselves C of course, then venture out into the world of Pokemon, which is just about this big for us. Basically just 2 small towns and a tiny route between them. We're going to be spending all of our time here. The starter selection doesn't really matter as well, since we won't use our starter Pokemon to get to level 100 and we won't need it after we get Pokeballs, so I assign each starter option a number, roll a die to pick our starter, forget which number each Pokemon was assigned on the die, and then just pick Torchic. While we're fighting this Poochyena and talking to Professor Birch, I should probably explain why the footage looks like this. I thought this would be funny, but in hindsight, it was just stupid. Kind of a common occurrence for me. Previously, when I would record off of my GameCube, like with the Shrek 2 video last year or the Yellow Professor's Oak Challenge recently, I'd use this AV to HD upscaler so I can upscale the quality of my GameCube recorded in HD with an HD capture card. This was complete overkill for Yellow version and any Game Boy game really, since the game doesn't need to be recorded in 1080p when it looks like this anyway. So in an attempt to recreate my experience of playing this game in the early 2000s as much as possible, I ordered a standard definition capture card online and hooked it up to my GameCube to play in glorious 480p, just as Nintendo intended back in 2003 when this game first came out. If you ever wondered why screenshots from GBA games back in the day, especially from these earlier strategy guides, look a bit blurry, kind of like the footage here, this is why. While it does look worse than just using my HD upscaler, it's fewer wires that I needed to plug in, and while it does look worse than some other methods of playing this game that Nintendo may or may not frown upon, I still think it adds some weird charm going out of my way to purposely play this game in a lower quality. With all that out of the way, once we get a chance to name our Torchic, chat wants me to name it Trico for some reason, so we take our new Trico up north to fight our rival May and her Mudkip. This will be the only trainer battle we do in this entire challenge, and the EXP we gain from this battle doesn't even matter at all since we won't be using our starter Pokemon after this point. Trico doesn't have a type advantage against our rivals Mudkip, as weird as that is to say, but we still defeat her in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, return to the lab to get the Pokedex, and more importantly, Pokeballs. From here on out, this challenge will be almost exclusively done on Route 101 only, with me only leaving the route to heal our Pokemon. We're going to be grinding up only 1 Pokemon to level 100 here, but I'm still going to catch 6 Zigzagoons anyway. Before we do that though, I should pass it along to Professor Tree, our resident Pokemon professor, to explain how experience works in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
Why hello there, it is I, Professor Tree, the nephew of Professor Birch, here to talk to you all about EXP rates in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon has a lot of complex math behind it for no reason, but as somebody who skipped Algebra 1 at Slateport City Community College, I think I know what I'm talking about. First, here we have a graph of how the EXP gain works. There's a few different EXP groups in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, the lowest being the erratic group, and the highest being the slow group. Now, I only have 4 colors to work with, and there's 6 groups, so we're only going to talk about the first 4 groups here, with the black one being the erratic group, and the red one being the medium slow group, and then the blue and the green being in between those groups. So if we look here at the erratic group, in order to go from level 0 to 100, we need 600,000 EXP, which is a lot. Now if we look at the green one, green for Professor Tree, this is the medium fast EXP group, the group that most Pokemon follow, at least in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. As we can see, the EXP curve is pretty consistent for every single level, up until we reach the mid-40s or so. So right over here, this is level 40 if you can see that. And a little bit after there, we'll see some divergence. Now, I'm not very good at drawing straight lines, but imagine that these lines are straight and how they should be. You'll notice right here is the point of divergence, as we call it in Slateport City. So, the green line, which is where we're going for, goes all the way up here, meaning we need 1 million EXP for Pokemon in the medium fast group to reach level 100, which is about 400,000 more, exactly 400,000 more, than the erratic group, the fastest group where Pokemon like Nincada are in. So we need 40% less EXP from the medium fast group to the erratic group, which is a pretty significant amount of EXP. Now, unfortunately, we can't obtain any Pokemon from the erratic EXP group on the black line here in Ruby and Sapphire before leaving Route 101. So, we have to work with Pokemon that are in the medium fast group in the green line, which is the fastest EXP gain we can find. Looking at the starter Pokemon first, they all belong to the medium-slow EXP group. Since leveling up Pokemon in the games is incremental, with each level requiring you more EXP to level up, here's the formula for the medium-slow EXP group. We have EXP equals 6 over 5 n minus 15 n squared plus 100 n minus 140. That's all really complicated. You also can probably barely see it because I'm using bright green. Ignore my phone, I definitely did not have the formula on my phone because I couldn't remember it. But this doesn't matter. This does not matter because we are not going with this formula because it's in a slower group. We're going to go with a faster group, and let me explain that one. This one is way easier. I'm trying to find my spot on my notes. So for Pokemon in the medium-fast EXP group, which include Poochyena, Wurmple, and Zigzagoon, all Pokemon we can find at Route 101, the formula is a bit simpler. We have EXP equals N cubed. That's it, where N equals level. So for example, let's say we want to reach level 20. So we do 20 times 20 times 20, which is N cubed, because cubed is just 20 times 20 times 20. And that's going to equal, what is that going to equal? Where'd my phone go? 20 times 20 times 20, 8,000. Now, this doesn't matter at all to us because we're not going to level 20, we're going to level 100. I also don't have an eraser because that wasn't in the budget. But since we're going to level 100, this is a bit cleaner. We do EXP equals 100 cubed, which is 100 times 100 times 100, which equals 1 million. I spelled million so wrong. I promise I'm a better speller than that. They taught me better. Let me try this again. Which equals 1 million EXP. Isn't that crazy?
1 million EXP is a lot, especially for the very start of the game. The Pokemon here give such little EXP on average. They give roughly 20 EXP per battle or so, which isn't a whole lot. That means we need roughly 1 million EXP, or exactly 1 million EXP, at roughly 20 EXP per battle. It would require 50,000 battles to reach level 100 on Route 101 alone. On the bright side, after 50k encounters, we should probably see at least a couple of shiny Pokemon, as the odds of finding a shiny are 1 in 8192, which is far less than 50,000. But if each encounter takes an average of 20 seconds to complete each battle, that would take far longer, as that would take roughly 1 million seconds, which is 277.7 hours, or about 11.5 days straight. This doesn't take into account going back to heal at the Pokemon Center, potentially missing moves, or any missed inputs I might do, which will increase that 20 second per battle rule. It's gonna take a while.
Next, let's discuss Zigzagoon. You can just stay over there, little buddy. Zigzagoon is a very unique Pokemon at Generation 3 thanks to its ability Pickup. This ability has changed a lot throughout the history of Pokemon, but in Ruby and Sapphire specifically, after each battle, a Pokemon with Pickup has a 10% chance to pick up an item. Now, like I said before, in Ruby and Sapphire, it doesn't matter what level your Pickup Pokemon is, they will always have the same chance to pick up an item. That means a level 2 Zigzagoon has the same chance as level 100 Zigzagoon as picking up a rare candy. Here is the chart here of all of the items that we can get as a drop. The most common by far is Super Potion at 30%. That's useless to us, we don't really care about it. Then we have Rare Candy, Ultra Ball, Full Heal, Full Restore, and Revive, all at 10%. Only one item we really care about, of course, that's the Rare Candy. Then at 5% we have Protein, 4% we have the PP up here, and 1% we have the King's Rock. Why is King's Rock 1%? It's not even a great item? I don't know. But, unlike in other games, or rather in other games, the level of your Zigzagoon matters, which is the biggest reason why I'm picking Ruby and Sapphire for this challenge. The issue is every rare candy we get is diminishing returns. The first rare candy is the most important rare candy because since the EXP curve is exponential, with each level requiring more EXP than the previous one, the most important rare candy to get is the first rare candy. After that, it's diminishing returns. Each rare candy is less and less valuable, but getting a rare candy is still more valuable than just not getting a rare candy. And that's enough explaining the math. I may have got some wrong, but I'm just going to pass it back to you, PaPaSea.
Thank you, Professor Tree, for that wonderful explanation, and after about 30 minutes of messing around in Ruby version, I caught our first Zigzagoon and named him Luffy, of course, because he's going to be king of the pirates and get us all of this precious pickup treasure, preferably rare candies. I catch 5 more Zigzagoons to maximize our pickup potential efforts and named them Robin, Nami, Sanji, Zoro, and Chopper after some other members of the Straw Hat crew. If you couldn't tell, I started watching One Piece recently. Then to make sure our game isn't tainted by a Pokemon that isn't a Zigzagoon, I started my copy of Emerald version from my Game Boy Advance SP and trade out our starter from Ruby version for a Zigzagoon I caught in Emerald version named Imposter. You might think that using a traded Pokemon for this challenge would be nice because you get boosted EXP, which would be faster to grind to level 100, and honestly, maybe it would, I don't really know, but I wanted to use a Pokemon that was caught in the same game that the challenge would be taking place on, so we won't be using this silly little imposter. I also think that a traded Pokemon wouldn't obey us after a certain point because we have no gym badges, but I don't really know. And now we just grind on Route 101 for hours. How long do you think this will take me? Let me know in the comments down below. I spent about 16 hours grinding a Pidgey to level 36 of the Viridian Forest in Yellow version for that Professor's Oak challenge video a few weeks ago, so I am not scared of this on Generation 3. I predicted that this challenge would take about 16 to 20 hours to complete before I started it, which might sound low since the EXP gained after each battle in Ruby version is lower on average than it was in Yellow version, but we didn't have Pickup in Yellow version. Let's pass it back to Professor Tree now to explain Pickup a bit more.
Thank you, PaPaSea. Now, as we discussed earlier, Pickup has a 10% chance to activate after each battle that you won, even if the Pokemon itself wasn't sent out into battle. You just need the Pickup Pokemon to be in your party to some capacity. Now, after that 10%, we have a 10% chance of that item being a rare candy, the only item we care about. However, as you can see, there is a 90% chance of getting an item that is not a rare candy. The chances are pretty low, hence why I called upon the Zigzagoon Straw Hat crew to help. If we have 6 Zigzagoons, all with a 10% chance. So 6 Zigzagoons, all with a 10% pickup chance. That means we have a 47% chance of one going off, which is pretty good. It is slightly out of our favor. It's almost 50-50, but not quite. That means we have a 4.7% chance of one of those pickup items being a rare candy, because we have a 47% chance for just pickup to activate among one of our 6 Zigzagoons, and then a 10% chance of that item being the desired outcome in a rare candy, which takes us to 4.7%. Honestly, don't know how accurate that math is, but Twitch chat said it was right, and they never lie. I also don't know how to even actually check if that's true if I wanted to. Let's go back to C now so we can explain more about how this challenge went.
Those odds are still pretty low, and I anticipated that we would get 30 to 40 rare candies before I started this challenge video and looked more into how this would work. I streamed this challenge as much as I possibly could to showcase the entire process, and after day 1 of streaming this, we got 12 rare candies in just about 2 hours of game time. The first 30 minutes or so of the stream was just starting up the game and setting everything up for the Zigzagoons, but that's still really good for us. Since the higher levels require more EXP to gain each level, I saved all of our rare candies until we got to a point where using all of our rare candies would bring Luffy to level 100. Then during our second stream, after about the 4-hour mark of game time, I calculated how many rare candies we would be getting each hour on average, and it came to about 6.2 rare candies per hour, so roughly 1 every 10 minutes of battling with our Zigzagoon Straw Hat army. The higher the level Luffy got, the more likely we were to one-shot these wild Pokemon, and we learned some new moves like Headbutt and Pin Missile along the way to stay battling for longer until we had to heal to refresh our PP. I also decided to hold B on every single level up when Zigzagoon would try to evolve into Linoon to stop it from evolving so we could have a level 100 Zigzagoon, just because having a legit level 100 Zigzagoon would be pretty funny. At about 6 rare candies per hour or so, that would take us about 15 hours to hit 90 rare candies, and after 15 hours of grinding Zigzagoon, we would definitely be past level 10. This means that we should be much faster than my original estimate of 16 to 20 hours, especially if we keep all of our rare candy luck up. For the earlier part of this challenge, rare candies were either our most common 10% drop or second to third, which was pretty good. The least common 10% drop we got from pickup was Ultra Ball, so I'm glad we had some good luck here, as there were points where we had 10 or more rare candies compared to other 10% items. Ultra Balls were probably the second best drop though, or maybe third to PP-outs, which I used to max out Luffy's PP on all of its moves. Having all of these Ultra Balls meant that if we were to run into a shiny Pokemon, we would have an easier time trying to catch one, but just to be safe, early on I also sold a few of our nuggets that we got to buy some Pokeballs in case we found a shiny. Will we get a shiny Pokemon? Was this whole stream series and video just an elaborate ploy for me to shiny hunt and trick you into watching it? Maybe, but this still took a really long time. The first 3 streams I did this challenge were pretty short, only lasting about 2 hours or so. Then on the 4th day, I decided to do a long stream and try to see if we can get to level 100 on that day. At this point, we had about 6 hours of game time, we had 38 rare candies, and Luffy was level 24, which boosted our average rare candy drops to about 6.3 repeating per an hour, which is slightly better than before. We still need 38 levels to reach level 100, so not counting the few levels Zigzagoon would gain naturally via battling wild Pokemon, getting 38 more rare candies to put us level 100 at this current point, with an average of 6.3 rare candies per hour, would take us about 6 hours. That's perfect since I was prepared to stream for that long that day, but we had some really good luck on day 4. We maintained that average of 6.3 rare candies or so for a while, until the 8th hour of gameplay. Our Zigzagoon crew went all out and got us 11 rare candies in just 1 hour, and by the time our average rare candy yield was at about 6.75 per hour. We made up so much time in this stream, finding so many rare candies that at about 4 hours into the stream, this happened.
Rare candy. Chat, I think we did it. Luffy's level 29. How many rare candies do we have? 71 rare. Chat, we did it. Level 100 on Route 101 in 10 hours and 5 minutes.
Let's see what other pickup items we got and how many we got besides the rare candies.
77 nuggets, although I sold a couple to buy extra Pokeballs.
in case we ran into a shiny. We also have 63 Ultra Balls, which is a 10% drop. Rare candies at 71, looks like it was our third most common 10% drop. 72 revives, only 59 full heals and 57 full restores. And then PP ups and proteins, I used some on our Zigzagoon to max out its attack stat early on and max out its PP so we can heal less and save time. King's Rock is only a 1% spawn, and we got 10. So we have 99 plus 88 super potions, that's 187. And now we level up our Zigzagoon to level 100. We did use a couple of items, but rare candies dropping as much as they did helped a ton, meaning we would only have to battle to level 29, then use 71 rare candies to reach level 100, and by the time the 10 hours were up, 71 rare candies is an average of about 7 per hour, which is great. I got tired of pressing B after using each rare candy when Zigzagoon tried to evolve into Linoon, so I traded over a Rattata holding an Everstone for my copy of Fire Red, so we can give that Everstone to Luffy and don't have to deal with it trying to evolve again. This whole challenge from starting up a new game to reaching enough rare candies to hit level 100 took about 10 hours, which seems really quick to me. I'm sure some people hear me saying spending 10 hours grinding on Route 101 alone isn't too long and think I'm crazy, and you might be right, but that's what spending all of that time grinding in Yellow version in the Viridian Forest has done to me. Admittedly, the rare candy pickup cheese carried this run, and some people might complain about that, but you spend roughly 270 hours doing this without rare candies, or just spend 10 hours or so doing it the way that I did. I bet you won't. You wouldn't download a rare candy? I mean, I wouldn't since I played on official hardware and I can't download anything to a GameCube, but I certainly would have used pickup to get rare candies. Not many people would do something as crazy as this, and maybe I'll do more challenges like this in the future, but if you want to see some more videos about grinding to level 100, check out AbsolBlogsPokemon, who has a very long-running series grinding to level 100 in various different ways in Pokemon games, even some where he leveled up an egg to level 100. Yes, you heard me right. He got an egg to level 100. Check out his video to see how that happened. Now that our honorable Luffy the Zigzagoon is level 100, you're probably thinking our journey here is finished, and we can just transfer Luffy over to Emerald version where he can be a valuable asset to my Generation 3 Shiny hunts, which I'll do over on twitch.tv/PaPaSea by the way. Follow over there to see more of Luffy, but there is one more thing that Luffy needs to do. Luffy may be level 100, but he isn't quite king of the pirates in the Hoenn region yet. What if Luffy became the champion of the Hoenn region to prove his power in Generation 3? Before we transfer Luffy over to Emerald version, let's see if we can beat Pokemon Ruby with only a level 100 Zigzagoon.
Thank you, Professor Tree, for helping with this video. Oh, no problem, C. It was a grand tree of a time. With all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see y'all next time, and bye-bye.